again. Be a little close for this one. I'm going to focus on spins today. This is a very highly requested tutorial. It's taken me a very long time to get to my spins where they were. I've never been or had good balance at all. So what I've noticed is that dancing to faster music, imagine spinning yourself like a top. The faster you spin, the more it takes your momentum and the trajectory of the force straight up, versus if you spin to maybe a slower tempo or a slower song, you're gonna have it's gonna be harder to keep your balance. But not that you can't spin multiple revolutions to a slow song. You can do that. Just gotta, you work on your balance over time. So, and practice the slow music first, as always, before you just rip it to a faster song. I definitely will do a demo after this video, like I usually do with music. So today we're just going to learn the X-plant spin and the Michael Jackson spin as well. I'll give you two to work on. There's a bunch of other ones that I do, but for now, just something basic for you guys to work on. Okay, so let me refocus this. Okay, so the X-plant spin. Well, first, starting off, before we get into anything, or before we go any farther, make sure the shoes you have on don't have a lot of grip on them. Make sure they're nice and flat, okay? You want to have nice flat tennis shoes for these. Just FYI, okay? Figure out which way you want to spin. Even though my dominant side is my right side, I like to spin to my left. So, figure out which way you want to spin, either right or left. And then kind of go from there, okay? I'll give you some things that you can use to practice, such as tape, to help you practice making the multiple turns or spins, okay? So figure out left or right, which way you like to go, and then just stick with it. And then once you master that side, if you want to master the other side, that's fine, but it's going to take you a while and a lot of practice. So next is we'll start with just the basic X-plant spin. So they call it an X-plant because why? It looks like an X. So I'm going to scoot up here so you can see. Don't worry about my head being cut off. So the X-plant is going to look like this, okay? You're going to step over, and you notice how it's kind of like an X. Your legs are in that form or shape of an X. And you're just going to use your arms and the torque of your hips and your legs to turn you, okay? Now, when you step over, feel what pressure points, in your feet, are turning you. You should feel the ball and the toe of the other foot. So if you're going to your left, your right leg is going to step over your left, okay? And for me, right, I'm feeling it in my heel. And I'm feeling it in my foot, on my left foot. Watch, I'll show you. So you're spinning like that, okay? And you notice how you want to leave a little gap right here, right here, so you don't hit this foot. So when you go into it, you don't go like this, okay? And you don't want to trip. So say if I'm doing Running Man, plant that foot across and over the other foot, make sure there's enough space, and complete the spin. And when you come around for that first turn, you will end up uncrossed, because if you look, you're uncrossing your feet. Right when you come to this point is where you can meet them both in the center like this, and you'll bring them around. So I'm going to do it again, okay? Okay? Pretty easy. We'll try going to the right. Okay? One more time. Okay? So your feet will come uncrossed, or unwind, or they'll be unwound. Okay? Like that. Alright? Now, that's one way of doing it. Now, when you do this, a lot of you are going to have, you're not going to be coordinated or balanced at all, so I'm going to give you some tricks. Learn to look up, okay? Learn to spot, if you know anything about spotting. Basically, pick a focal point on the wall or something in your home or anywhere, and look at that spot, and watch my head. Your head should be the last thing that turns. So if I'm looking at that focal point, you do your X-plant, you step over, and right here, the last thing you should see is that focal point. So turn the rest of your body, and then turn your head and whip it around like that. So I'm going to do like 2 or 3 so you can see what I mean. So I'll step over, 1, 2, 3, okay? So once you get used to that, it becomes like second nature after a while, and then you don't really have to think about spotting anymore. You just automatically know how to spot your body. It's just like it just becomes instinct. So the golden rules of spins: look up, okay? Because if you look down, it's like you're gonna go wherever you're looking. So it's going to be like weight dragging you down. So you want to have your head up, okay? Learn to spot. Learn to also flex your abs a little bit. Stay nice and tight. Flex your butt too, your glutes when you do the spin. So for this particular one, for the X-plant, are you spinning flat on your feet, or on your toes, or on the ball, or your balls of your heels, or the balls of your feet? For this particular one, you'll never really go on like the tip toes. We can do that though with a different spin. But typically, also that's another thing. What does the floor look like? Is it really rough terrain? Is it a rough surface? If it's a really smooth surface like this dance floor I have, well, then it's going to be, you could spin on both feet nice and flat like this. Okay. However, for this particular one, I usually spin on my heels. And you'll see my feet sometimes lift up a little bit. Okay. So let me do it from like a side angle. I'll scoot up a little bit for you. Okay. So you see how my foot was lifted at the end there? Let me see if I can do 2. And then I'll see if I can do 3. So 1, 2. See how my foot is up? Okay, it's pivoting and moving on its heel as I turn. Let me see if I can do 3. Okay, did lose my balance a little bit, but that leads me to the next point, which is good. If you fall, lean into it. So if you step out of your spin, fall into a running man. Let me show you. Let me try and just do a spin, and whatever happens, I want you to fall into a running man if possible. So, okay. So you see how I come out of it and you land in a running man? Okay, I promise you, like 9 times out of 10, they'll never know you meant to do that. Okay, then go back into your running man. Okay, and back to your routine, back to your freestyle. They'll never know. And that shows that you know what you're doing. Even if you do fall out of it, that's good. You know, some people will just give up if they fall out of a spin. You know, you want to. The whole goal is to do your spin and then go into the running man or go into your next move or trick or spin, T-step, you know. So that's the X plant. I'm gonna do it again. Okay, a good drill I want you guys to do is running man, spin, and then into a running man again. So I'm gonna try that now, right? So running man, spin, back into a running man. Okay? So you might notice sometimes when I'm on my heel, maybe I might pick one foot up and I might tap it down lightly or quickly while I spin. And it might happen too fast that you can't see it, but sometimes I do pick up a foot to help tap down, and that's okay. You know, it's just it's like a handicap or an assist. Let me see if I can. Okay, so you see there how I'm spinning just on one foot. You know, it's okay to bring your leg up, just don't bring it up too high. There are particular spins, like even in ballet, you know, where they'll pick the foot up, or do like a pirouette. But like for shuffling, you know, you don't want to lift your leg up too high per se. Depends what you're doing, of course, but usually keep your foot, if you can, you know, try and keep your foot just barely off the ground. You can bring it up a little bit, okay? And sometimes it looks cool, like if you can spin on one foot, great, you know? Maybe you'll do a move, or maybe you'll do like crump, you know, bring that foot down. That's a whole other style, but you know, there's so many things you can do. So with this particular spin, again, you should be spinning on your heels. Okay, so yeah, you're gonna lean. You'll kind of be, you know, pick your focal point, right? Look at your focal point. Okay, and I want you to try and turn your head last each rotation. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Now I'm going to note something. If you do happen to go up on the ball of your feet, that's okay. I want you to play with this particular spin and see what happens. Maybe you'll go on the ball of your feet, or sorry, the ball of your heel. I keep saying that, the ball of your heel, the first rotation. And then maybe as the next rotation comes around, you might end up going on the balls of your feet, like this, right here. And that's okay. I just want to explain and make it clear that it's not wrong if you spin on your heels all the time, or flat, you know, depending if it's a nice smooth surface, you can be flat on both feet. Or if you end up going up on the balls of your feet, that's okay too. It's not wrong. Just know that for this particular one, most of the times when I'm spinning like really, really fast, okay, I'm on the balls of my balls of my heel. Okay. Okay, see? Now, yeah, I lost my balance, but I landed. Okay. You're gonna fall. Okay, so that's another thing I need to mention is have some space. If you need to put some blankets down or you need to put some pillows down, go ahead and do that, because it's gonna, you know, it's gonna hurt. You know, you're gonna fall, but you have to fall a few times, right? You gotta get back up, keep practicing. So let me try it a few more times with the running man. Okay, so you notice each time was like a little pause. It was like 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's because I'm getting my bearings down, or my kind of like my last, like the last spot that I could, you know, visually have in my head, which is like the camera. Okay, so I'm gonna try it again and try and keep this one straight and focused. Okay, so you see that? It's like 1, 2, 3. And you kind of see again, I'm kind of bouncing my foot down. And this is just something I kind of developed, okay? I'm going to try and stay completely flat this time, or on my heels. So. Okay, so you see how I did that too? You see how I ended up right here? And I just took the rest of that momentum and I just, you know, turned my feet like that. Sometimes maybe you'll finish a spin and you'll be right here. I want you to use your arms, your chest, everything, and to use it to like oomph, or use it to you know, finish the rotation. So like, you know, like that. If you have to like put your feet together, you know, to help yourself make complete the turn, that's okay, you know. So just know that when you feel yourself starting to slow down and you end up like right here, finish the spin off facing your target or facing your spot or your focal point, okay? That's pretty much it for the explant spin. Just focus on one rotation right now, so just literally step over. Okay, and remember, watch the gap. When you turn, you don't want your left foot to hit your foot. You want to leave enough room in the between the two. That way you don't hit your foot, your heel. And I know it's going to take a little bit of time to get used to this particular one if you choose this one, because yeah, you're kind of twisting your hips a little bit, you know. But after doing it for so long, it becomes, you know, like second nature, like I said. Okay, and remember, your feet want to come uncrossed. Let me do it from the back once so you can see. Okay, so you step over. Okay, now you notice how I don't fall, I don't lose my balance. If you have to do this 100 times, which I've done before in my like training sessions in the you know, in the garage or at the park, if you have to do this 100 times until the point of where you're completely like stiff and effortless, then do it, you know. Get that muscle memory down, you know. The reason why ballerinas are so amazing and they have that perfect like balance is because they've been doing it for like a very long time, like their entire lives, and they have like the actual, you know, I don't know all the fancy terminology, and obviously I didn't go to school, I'm self-taught, but I've learned from ballerinas, I've learned from people that have taken, you know, like actual like dance classes and stuff, and I've taken dance classes too, but that's like one of the main things in like ballets is they spin, and they can spin for like, I've seen people spin up to like 40 times plus, you know. So, but this is shuffling, you know, this is different, but a lot of the same rules apply. Look up, spot, tighten up a little bit. Also, what to do with your arms, you know, that's another thing. So, what to do with your arms, it's basically wherever you feel comfortable. For me, I like to grab, or I like to pretend like I don't really know. It's, I don't know what to call it. I mean, I just feel comfortable right here. So when I spin, I'm just kind of like this. Okay, let me try that again. I just kind of grab, I kind of clench my fists like this, okay? Kind of like that. You can do whatever you want, you know. Some people like to put their arms at their head, okay? I'll try this once. Okay, see how I tripped there? But you know, I landed it still, okay? So just be careful when you do it too. Let me try it again. Okay, that was a little better, okay? So you can have your arms at your head, you can have your arms like this, you know, like not touching your head. You could have your arms up here. If you do this spin, be very careful, because this makes you a spinning top. This is a really fun spin, but it is very, very dangerous, so just be careful. I'll try it a couple times here, see what happens. Okay, it's that when you drive your force up, straight up in the air like this, you're gonna get the faster revolutions when you spin. So, and especially when you when you build up to the spin, when you really throw your arms up into it like this. Okay? So you see how fast that was? And then you see how I stepped out? I lost my balance a little bit, but still looked good, right? You know? As long as you can come out of the spin and make it look good, land into a running man or a T-step or whatever, you know, you're gonna be okay. Let me try it again with a running man now. The arms straight up. Okay, a little sloppy, right? So let me try it without the running man. Okay, see? That one for me is still a little challenging at times. I like to keep my arms lower, and I like to keep them midsection, okay? Sometimes I can land that spin, okay? But you know what? I'm not perfect, you know? And I'm okay to admit that. But I'm just showing you that you have different options, okay? And when you do that spin, grab your palm. You want to grab your palms, or one palm on the back of the other, and you want to drive straight up, okay? You want to drive straight up above your head like this. When you do it, you know? So, same thing, X-plant. And same time, as you spin, okay? And I can tell, I can feel it, I'm spinning on my heels for this one. Okay? So, then when you come out, just drop your hands, you know. Sometimes people like to keep their hands out when they spin, which is okay. Some people put their hands across their chest when they spin. I don't recommend this one right away to newbies, to beginners, because it's a little dangerous. Like, it can help, like with your momentum, because the more you tighten up, right, the more like kind of like slender you keep everything nice and tight like this or like this, nice and straight, you're gonna go faster, right? When you don't have anything hanging out like this, that's gonna slow you down, you know? Aerodynamics, okay? So, you could do across the chest as well, just be careful of that, because if you do fall, you know, it's hard to kind of brace yourself for impact. So again, you have above the head, or at the head like this, where you're like touching your head, you can just have your hands like this. You can have your hands above your head like this. And some of these have names. I don't have the names for them right now, but I mean, besides like the X-plant spin, obviously pretty easy. You can, some people will, the Michael Jackson spin, which we'll jump into right now. MJ would keep his hands and arms like this. As he would spin, he would keep his arms at chest and behind his back. So when he would do it, he would spin like this. Okay. Now when he would he wouldn't do the X-plant. Not that he ever did do it, but one of his most famous spins, he would bring his foot up to this other one. Okay, and he would spin, say if we're going, this is going left, and this foot, you are going to go up on the ball of your foot, on this one. Okay, like that. And, oh, another thing, yeah, you could keep your arms like this, okay? You could keep your arms like this. A lot of hard-style shufflers, when they do these really fast spins, they'll go like that, but they'll be up on their toes. Like that. See, I'm still on my toes? Okay, so that's another, you could do it like that if you want. That's really like advanced, I would say. It's like going up and it's bracing yourself. Okay, so I wasn't gonna show that one today, but hey, if you want to play around with it, you can. So just as you're doing that, you're just going up and up on the balls of your feet, not your toes. Okay, the balls of your feet. If you have really good shoes that will hold you up well, you can try that, but you know, for you beginners, just practice the basic X-plant spin, you know, first. And then this is also a basic one too, the Michael Jackson spin. So what you would do, again, going back to this, this foot, this is my right foot, it goes into your left foot like this, and then it's off the floor a little bit, okay? So this one foot will be, the left foot will be the only one spinning, okay? And the reason for that is because if you have two shoes spinning, it's friction, and your weight is going like this, you know, you're pushing down on both sides because your balance is trying to, you know, you're trying to prevent yourself from falling, right? So the reason he would do that is if you're only spinning on one foot, you don't have to worry about catching the traction of the ground or the surface on the other foot. Okay, and the nice thing about this one is you don't have to worry about crossing your feet over or doing any of that, you know. 'Cause I know that can be kind of it'd be a little like cumbersome to some people or a little uncomfortable. But the thing about this one is it's a little harder, it's a little bit more difficult because you're going up on the ball of your foot. Okay, and you're spinning. Okay, let's see if I can get 3. 1, 2, I think 1 or 2, let's see. 1, 2. Okay, so it takes a lot of practice, okay, but again, so when you do it, I'll get a little closer here. You want this foot to go into the arch of this foot right here, and you want to go in like this, okay, and then once you go in, and you can prep yourself, okay, I don't have the name for this right now, but I will be sure to fill it in the future. You can start out literally like this, okay, see that? And it gives you that momentum to take off, okay? So just look, I'm literally going, if you just have to practice doing this, just do that, you know, just literally start on your toe already, okay, and then naturally, or over time, you know, yeah, bring your foot in, like that, okay. Let me see if I can do let me try doing it with a running man. Okay, kind of caught the crack there and I lost my balance, but, you know, I don't fall, I don't ever fall anymore, I know how to land or catch myself, you know. You know, I always have my arms out just in case, okay. So let me try that again with the running man. It would be on the down, so this foot would come down. Okay, that was a little better. I ended up facing that way, but it's okay, you know. So spinning on one foot versus, you know, 2 feet or 2 heels, you know, you're gonna want to play around with it, okay? Practice on the tile, but be very careful. Practice at the park. Tennis courts or basketball courts are really smooth, like the concrete ones are really smooth. Or anywhere where there's a smooth, polished surface, just be careful. You know, you are gonna fall. You gotta fall a few times, unfortunately, but you'll get better over time. Some drills, like I told you guys earlier. You can use tape. So again, like a compass or a clock. You got your 12 o'clock. You got your 9, your 6. You got your 3 o'clock over here. Put pieces of tape like a cross, right? Up, down, left, right. And then put pieces of tape in the diagonals. So at your, you know, 10 or 11 o'clock, at your 2 o'clock, your 4 or 5 o'clock if you have to, and your 7 or 8 o'clock. And I want you to practice spinning, hitting each pieces of those tape like this. So if this is like my up, you know, my left, your down, okay, and I want you to practice hitting the pieces of tape and going faster and faster, and over time I want you to remove the pieces of tape. Okay, got cut off there, but I want you to remove the pieces of tape over time and see how many steps you can go down, or see how many steps you can hit, before you can make a full rotation. So what I mean by that is, imagine there's a bunch of pieces of tape around me, like a clock, all right? So see how I'm hitting each piece of tape, okay? And when you're doing that too, you're hopping or you're T-stepping with this other foot, okay? So as time progresses and you get better, your balance gets better. Try hitting just the up and the down. So watch. And you see how I'm still spotting? My head is still looking at you like that. Okay? Now watch what happens when I only do one step. It's going to be a little bit more powerful, but it also comes with, time and progress, balance, so watch. Okay, I can kick or step with one, okay, turn. Now watch what happens when I do it really fast a bunch of times. Okay, again, so watch what happens when I try and do it faster. You're gonna spin faster and faster, and then eventually, you can put that other foot down after you're done doing it a few times and try and let yourself spin faster. So watch. So. Okay, see? That's just something that I do sometimes, okay? But in the beginning, you're gonna be like baby stepping. You're gonna be hitting every little piece of tape because you're not used to you don't have your balance down quite yet, or you're just not used to that. If you have to practice like like a clock, only go to the 6 o'clock, okay? So walk, or only go to, for example, so like go from here, and then stop. And this is if you want to just try the X-plant or the stepping. Practice it until you get it down. So let's do the X-plant. So let's do the X-plant like this. Okay, stop, reset. I'm going to face this way so you can see. Okay? Practice that down until you get the halfway, the spin halfway's complete. Okay? Then try and do it 3/4. Or it would be right here. Okay? Or depending on whatever way you're facing. If I'm facing you, 3/4, I should end up right here on this side. Okay, about right there. Then when you're feeling confident enough, and you're feeling what do you call it? Your balance starts to build up, then try and do a full spin. Okay? And then when you get to the point where you're like, okay, I think I can take it a step further, try adding more spins. Okay? Okay. And yeah, sometimes you pick your foot up, like I said, but sometimes I'll pick my foot up on purpose so I can get my balance and the land like gently, just because trying something new, So practice hitting the tape like this, going in a circle, okay, and it's going to help you build up speed. You're going to get dizzy, of course, but it is going to help you build up faster. Okay. So just a couple of drills for you guys there. Trying to think of anything else I left out. Lots of practice. Okay, it's gonna take a while, but you'll practice this for a few days. You might get a little discouraged, and then you'll come back in like a week, and you'll notice that your balance is like a lot better. It's exactly how it works. Every time you ride a bike when you were younger, it's the same thing. You would be really wobbly, and then you'd come back like maybe a day or two later, a few days later, a week later, whatever, and you notice, oh, it's not that hard, right? It's the same thing with anything else in life. Spins are difficult, but they don't have to be difficult, and that's because you need to know the secret you know, the secret sauce, the golden rules, like I said earlier. Which, remember, is when you spin, don't look down. You know, if you look down, you're not going to know where you're at, you know. You're going to get dizzy. Like, I'm dizzy just from doing that. You want to keep your head up and straight. You want to have your shoulders and your body upright. You know, you want to pick a focal point, and at first, you don't have to always use a focal point or learn to spot. Well, you have to learn to spot, that is important. But once you learn to spot, it becomes second nature. You don't have to always rely on that, because your body will do it automatically eventually. Okay. You know, stay tight. If you feel yourself falling over every time you do this, you know, a lot of people I see are going to do this. They're going to do their spin, and they're going to fall immediately. Tighten up. Like, right when you go into the spin, like, flex your butt. When you flex your butt, it's not going to let you move, okay? It's not going to let you fall over. Okay, don't get too stiff, though. You don't want to be too stiff, but you just want to kind of lightly flex your abs, your butt, your legs a little bit, okay? Okay. Sometimes you might come out of it, and you might fall forward a little bit. That's okay. Like, in your practice sessions, okay. Get to the point, though, where you come out of it, you know, use your arms. Also use your arms to help you get into the momentum of it. Okay? Perfect. You know, I don't fall, didn't lose my balance. Okay? Try it again here. Okay? Perfect. Like, that's how you should. That is a good spin in my, you know, in my perspective. So yeah, that's it for this tutorial. I will be coming out with a demo with the music next video. So yeah, I think this was a pretty insightful tutorial, so let me know if this helps. Spins are something that I worked very hard on, and I mean, if you watch any of my dance videos, like, it definitely shows from like 3 years ago till now. You know, it just takes time and practice, so don't give up, be careful, work on one spin. Once you can do one spin like 100 times and you don't fall, then try adding 2 spins. Once you can do 2 spins, like, you know, effortlessly, then try adding 3, of course. And then if you can do 2 to 3 spins, that's enough for me. I mean, I think the most spins I've ever done in one rotation is maybe, like, I want to say 5 or 6, maybe more actually. Maybe 7 at the most, but I don't know. That's if I can get 2 or 3 spins, that's good enough for me. So don't be too hard on yourself. Don't get discouraged. It's going to take time. If I knew all this information that I just shared with you in the beginning, and this tutorial was, I would have been a lot farther along. But hey, that's why there's dance classes out there, you know. But there's not shuffle classes out there. Well, there is, but they're not as big quite yet. But I know a lot of people out there that are working on them, and that's good. So, you know, it doesn't take you 4 or 5 years to become a good dancer, or a good shuffler, I should say. There's plenty of classes out there that you guys can take to get you where you need to be, but you still have to put in the practice, right? You still have to put in the effort and the work. So, yeah, that's it for now. Look out for the tutorial, or the demo with music next. All right, peace, guys. Till next time.